Welcome to Real Talk Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi and today we have a very special guest on the show, the amazing Tosca Reno. I understand your parents are Dutch and you speak Dutch as well. So Tosca, hoe gaat het met u?
Gaat heel goed, ja.
Okay.
En mijn ouders die zijn allebei van Nederland. Mijn moeder was van Delft en mijn vader van Rijswijk.
Oh, geweldig.
En mijn Nederlands is een beetje slecht. Ik moet een beetje meer oefenen, denk ik.
Nee, je spreekt het heel erg goed.
Oh.
Zeker weten. Thank you. Tosca, you've literally inspired millions of women around the world through your best-selling books, motivational lectures, and contributions to Clean Eating and Oxygen magazine. But over a decade ago, you had reached a low point in your life. Can you tell us about that period and the day you decided to turn your life around for yourself and for your children?
Yes. My life has certainly changed a lot. Almost 14 years ago, I was a very unhappy, overweight mother of 3 children. And I remember struggling with things like hypoglycemia, which is a lead up to lifestyle diabetes. And I was also suffering from heart palpitations and various other things. So I made a decision to get healthy because I wanted to be a better mother for my children. And I remember looking at a photograph one day and seeing a picture of me and not recognizing who I was, and it made me incredibly sad. And I thought, okay, this has to change. I have to do better. I have to be a better example for my children. And really, it just began there. But at my heaviest, I weighed 204 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilograms. You go by kilograms, right?
Yeah, kilograms. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was fat, very fat. So, and then I discovered, eating clean and exercising. My husband, late husband Robert Kennedy, and I developed the Eat Clean diet. I trained in my first bodybuilding competition at the age of 42. I competed and placed 5th, and I've competed many times since, and my life has just changed dramatically. It's hard to believe sometimes how much it's changed.
Wow, what an incredible story. So you went from not being able to take the stairs to losing over 75 pounds and getting into the best shape of your life. And you
Yes.
did it in your early 40s. What would you say to those listening who feel it's too late for them?
Well, I sure hope it's not too late because at 54, I intend to compete again. And I think age is only a number. It means nothing. What matters more is what's in your head and what's in your heart. And life certainly isn't over at age 40 for anyone, unless you believe it to be so. And something that I have committed myself to, especially over the last few years, is I want to live a big life. I don't want to live a small life where I don't take chances and risks. I'm quite happy to fail. I'm quite happy to experience pain, to suffer, to get things wrong a little bit. All of this makes me feel like I'm truly alive, and I think that's a beautiful thing no matter what the age happens to be. So again, I'm going to be 54 in a few weeks, and life to me is just beginning to open up. I'm just getting started.
Your incredible transformation was just the first of many successes. You're now one of the leading health and wellness experts in North America, a New York Times best-selling author, and the CEO of a major publishing firm, just to name a few things. Do you feel that transforming your health has been the catalyst to your continued success?
Yes, I say that a lot. I really feel that eating correctly, so following a clean diet of unprocessed foods and exercise together are your first line of defense against life. Because life is complicated, it's different, it's stressful, it's busier, we're all multitasking, we seem to have less time, not more. And so I feel that to support and strengthen yourself with excellent nutrition and going to the gym are the things that are going to keep you able to cope with this life and to keep you healthy. And I do think that the eating, at least the eating better, has helped me realize some of these successes. And I think it can be the same for others. And I'm thinking of a situation last year. Some of you are aware that Robert, my husband, passed away from lung cancer, and it was an enormously stressful time. but I chose the gym as my drug of choice, and I chose to eat clean also as my drug of choice so that I stayed in the healthiest frame of mind possible. And I think that's what's helped me survive it. I'm not saying it wasn't difficult and it didn't hurt, but I think those things did help me to stand strong in the face of all that adversity.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You write about putting yourself first and giving yourself permission to change. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, women tend to be nurturers, and often we make ourselves the very last detail on our very busy schedule, the very last thing we take care of on our list of things to do. And I was that person. I know what you're talking about. I was always empty at the end of the day, completely exhausted, and I began to feel resentful. So if we can turn that list around and make ourselves the priority, we tend to do a better job of being able to take care of not only ourselves but our families. And think about the wonderful example that's setting to our children. No, I have to eat well first. I have to get up and exercise in the morning. I'm going to take care of me. Then mommy isn't cranky, and mommy isn't sad, and mommy isn't fat or overeating or whatever it is, right? It's just, to me, a critical piece of self-care.
Last year, you suffered the tremendous loss of your husband. This must have been an extremely difficult time for you. However, you seem to handle things incredibly well, focusing your energy on the positive. Where do you find the strength, and how do you deal with difficult moments?
Well, there certainly have been many difficult moments over the last year. In fact, even 2 years, because prior to losing Robert, his son died the year prior. So it feels like it's been 2 years of quite a lot of grief. But one thing that I have learned to do is to be grateful for the positive things I do have in my life. And though I lost both Braden and Robert, from those experiences, I've certainly begun to understand death better and what I can offer to others in the way of compassion, because I've been through it myself. And so the learning is to be grateful for the good that has come out of it. And even though there are many days where I still feel sad and I cry, I have to say thank you to Robert. He gave me this opportunity to be working at his company. He gave me the opportunity also he trusted me enough to look after his daughter, who I have as my own child now. We built the Eat Clean diet together, and now I can have the experience of working with women from all over the world to improve their lives and touch their lives. And for these things, I have to be grateful. If I focused on the negative only, then I think his whole message would have been lost, and I would have failed at the challenge set before me. And I won't let that happen. I think there's much more to be gained from staying in the positive. So I practice every day. I practice being grateful for even this opportunity to interview with you, Miriam, and to speak to my fellow countrywomen in the Netherlands. And I'm just blessed for all of these wonderful things, and gratitude is where I come from.
Yeah, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sometimes we expect too much from ourselves. You also had to learn that it was okay to ask others for help. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I did have to learn how to ask for help, and that was a big step for me because I am Dutch. I'm a little stubborn, right? We tend to be heel eigenwijs in Nederlands. Yeah. So learning to ask for help was a chance for me to demonstrate that I could make myself vulnerable to others and to not have all the answers, and to depend on the strength of others, particularly women. And I have found in this last year that it has been women who have stood beside me and helped me shoulder many of the difficult tasks I faced in overcoming, grief, and even taking on the publishing business for Robert. So, and I would have missed out on all those opportunities if I hadn't had the courage to ask. So, yes, learning how to ask was a big step for me, but I'm doing it.
On Valentine's Day, you wrote a beautiful piece about energy, about how in the end we are all just energy and how you made a pact with yourself to radiate only positive energy. Why is it that most people seem to focus only on the negative?
I used to be that negative person, so I understand it very, very well. I think negativity stems from fear. So I think that for myself, a fearful person is a very closed person. You don't want to ask for help. You want to blame others, but you end up missing so much of the beauty of life. And this is what I was talking about being grateful, is that there's so much to be gained from the beautiful things that Bob taught me and that this life has taught me. And I'm so tired of negativity. I think that once we can look past the fear and say, you know what, bring it on. I know it's going to hurt. I know this is going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it. I'm a woman of power. I can do this. You can do this. Come with me. We'll do it together. When I come from that place, you can feel the energy changing, right? You can feel that desire to do something other than just remain inert. And you also know that once you've done that, you've gotten through the pain, there's something that's so beautiful on the other side and so magnificent and so almost it builds you so much and replenishes you that you would not want to miss out on any of those opportunities. So whenever pain comes along or negativity, I just say, bring on the fear. I'm going to go right through it, get to the other side and be stronger and better.
Wow, great.
And then I'll have a heel lekkere kopje koffie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For my day.
Yeah.
When you reached that low point in your life, you decided you had enough. You took matters into your own hands and completely changed your life. You could have kept it all for yourself, but you shared your story with the world and in doing so have helped millions of people. What made you so passionate about helping others?
Well, I knew the feeling of being paralyzed in my own very small, very stuck life. I lived that way for 17 years. I was that negative person. I was very toxic. I was overweight. I was sick and really living a life with no purpose whatsoever. So because I understand that so well and how good it feels to be on the other side of that, living a life that's charged with energy and positivity and purpose, I am so energized to help others find those true natures of themselves. So, and I think maybe that's what has been so remarkable about this whole process, because I started out with a book about eating clean, which is a lifestyle, but in the process, I've brought many people into the fold in ways to discover better selves, not just leaner and trimmer and healthier, but that can live a fuller life, a big, rich life. And I think that's the key.
Tosca, my goal with these interviews is to inspire women around the world to lead healthier and happier lives. You've inspired millions. What is the best advice you can give me?
The best advice would be not to wait, not for a second. And whatever it is that's holding you back right now, if there's anything, no matter how big it is, to go ahead and blast through that and just say, that pain is only temporary. It's not going to keep me down. I am going to go forward. I tell you this because I understand pain, not just from losing my husband, but I lived in my first marriage, I lived in an abusive relationship for 17 years. So I know what pain is and I know what fear is. To leave someone who is abusive to you is a very fearful thing and you need a lot of courage. So, but if you can just get the courage up and say, I will get through this and I will begin today. Don't hesitate, because I can't imagine missing out on this amazing life that I'm living now. And I wouldn't want that for anyone else either.
Thank you so much for your advice. As a mother, what has been the most valuable lesson you've learned about yourself while raising your daughters?
Well, the most valuable lesson is to be the role model. Obviously, that's very important. And so what you do, your children will probably follow through as well. But to also be completely honest. And there will be times when you're not perfect and you don't need to be. But, to admit that you're fallible, that you can make mistakes, it's quite normal. No one's perfect, especially parents. And I think that gives children a deeper understanding of you as the complexity as a person, that you are a whole person, that you do make mistakes, that you can survive, and that's okay. That's part of the human experience.
If you could ask your husband for his guidance one last time, what would you ask him?
I've thought about this a lot. I would say to him, now, Robert, what was your plan for these magazines that I have? You left me with Oxygen, Clean Eating, Muscle Mag, and Reps. What was your long-term plan? And I think that was one thing that we probably didn't discuss enough because the illness came on so fast. And I wonder if he meant for the magazines to have a long life in perpetuity. Did he mean for them to be translated to an online version? And what was his vision? And in the same way that I'm asking the question of him out loud, it's also the question I'm asking of myself, and I'm having to interpret it for myself. But I hear his little voice there all the time, so I know he's watching over me.
And I know he's proud of you.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet.
Tosca, it was an absolute honor to have you on my show. Where can viewers go to learn more about you?
Oh, you can visit me online at www.toscareno.com or also at eatcleandiet.com. We have a wonderful community of strong men and women who are just in love with lessons like yours that help us all get stronger together.
Thank you. I will make sure to put all the links below this video.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else you feel we've missed that you would like to cover today?
Well, I'm just wondering when some of my Dutch countrymen and women are going to ask me to come to Holland for a little workshop or a seminar or an expo.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm traveling to Holland. To Australia for all of April. So I think we can, sneak by Holland on the way. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
I must say I'm incredibly proud to be a Dutch woman. I have strength and fortitude and persistence and intelligence. And when I look around at my fellow people, I feel very blessed to have that heritage behind me, and I treasure it very much. Whereabouts are you based? Where are you in Holland?
Amsterdam.
Oh, Amsterdam. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Where else?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Thank you again, Tosca.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. It was an honor to be with you.
Thank you so much. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Miriam Khalladi, and I will see you on the next episode of Real Talk, Real Women.